Alright, here we go, Striff. Take us through the start of this race.
We got 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights on now here in Hockenheim. And it's lights out and we are racing. Big puff of smoke coming off the circuit there as all these drivers get away. That is Jay into the lead of this race now as we will follow through turn 1. There's a Toro Rosso off in the first turn. That's BTFU as he gets taken out. Henry into 9th position now. Not too sure what happened with BTFU there, but that is not the result he wanted to have. Everybody else getting away relatively clean here. Not too much debris coming off onto the circuit. And we have had a major shuffle of positions here, and there is a safety car deployment here for the collision of BTFU through turn 1. Jay into the lead of this race for Alfa Romeo right now.
Yeah, very, very messy start from those guys in the long turn anymore and just got tapped into the wall, but I could definitely be wrong on that. So that is both Toro Rossos out of the race. I believe Young IP had some kind of connection issue from that.
So very unfortunate for the Toro Rosso squad today. Not the debut they wanted to have for the team with a new driver joining the grid. Of course, you can look at the position changes here on screen. We have Rackety, who has moved up 5 spots. Zamajo did what we said he had to do. He got by one of the soft runners as Jean has dropped back into 4th, back 3 places as he began this race in the lead on pole position. Skybits has moved up 2 slots. And Samus, Henry, and Custom have all moved up 3 slots apiece as Falcon has now dropped all the way down 6 positions into 10th in the running at the moment. And it's just been a massive shuffle here. You can see Jasko down in 17th, excuse me, as he's in the pits at the moment. He's dropped 11 positions here so far in this race, and we are only on lap 2, running behind safety car. So, of course, as always, Germany never disappoints. If the rain can't help it be an interesting race, I'm sure the driving styles will, and we have BTFU out of this race here. What's going through your head as a Toro Rosso driver right now?
Nothing. No. If anything, shock, really. I mean, both Toro Rossos out of the running, pretty much. Well, not pretty much. They are both out of the running, so they'll be scoring no points in their Constructors campaign, which is definitely going to hurt them in their chase for those top few positions in the Constructors.
Not just talking about the Constructors either. We have BTFU currently running in 3rd in the Drivers' Championship in a close battle with all of those behind him, and of course Yoda in P2 in the Constructors as well. Although he is in 16th, we have seen him make some amazing moves in the past. You may remember Russia, where we saw him suffer and drop back to the last car on the grid, and he came back to win that race. So don't count out Yoda. He's come back from worse positions than 16th here, as I do believe we're going around one more time with the safety car. You can see Jay trying to keep those tires at a decent temperature. Zamajo and Rackety behind him. It's a 2-3 running for Ferrari right now, and the Tifosi are going to be happy about that.
Looks like Fusions and Yoda are pitting again for both for front wing changes, it looks like. So not quite sure what happened between those two, but they will be running in 17th and 18th, respectively, as safety car queue rounds around the Curva Grande.
The Curva Grande. Wonder if anyone's going to give us crap on using that terminology for this wannabe straight.
The wannabe straight. Yeah, I like that. We'll call it that from now on. The wannabe straight.
Samus into 7th on those medium tires in the Alpha. That is looking good for him as we'll jump back on over to the tires right now. You can see all the drivers ahead of him with the exception of Zamajo on those softs, which will degrade much quicker than the mediums, of course. So Samus is looking like when we get this restart, we're going to have another train perhaps. We'll see what happens here, but it is going to be this lap. The safety car comes in now, so we'll jump on over to Jay as he begins to slow down the grid. Weaving to get those tires warm. Zamajo itching to go behind him in the Ferrari, and Rackety behind him on the softs. We'll see if some team orders come into play so that Rackety doesn't have to struggle behind his teammate on those softs. I believe we are racing as Jay crosses the line. We have Jean into the pits here on the restart. Zamajo and Rackety running quite wide there through turn one. Jay looking pretty good.
Tires up to temperature. The Alfa Romeo of Jay is going to be under. Behind the Alfa Romeo is we have a yellow flag. I believe that's Sanchez. He's had a bit of an off at turn 3.
You can see him getting back on the circuit there. Jean narrowly avoiding him. Jay doing a good job of leading this race right now here in Germany on lap 4.
Skybits has already sort of dropped off the pack a little bit. Already 1.7 seconds behind Rackety in 3rd. So you're definitely having the pack split up a little bit off the restart. But look at this Williams all over the back of the Alpha. As Samus is really struggling to get those tires up to temperature.
Yoda very close to Fusions in a battle for 15th right now as well. But of course, Henry is going to have a good run out of the final corner here on the circuit. Moving down into turn 1 now. Samus is gaining on Maxim ahead in the Red Bull. Maxim on those softs, 4 laps old now. He could be starting to feel it. Samus looks inside here, but decides better of it. And that's Custom with a cheeky move up the inside of that Williams, and they're wheel to wheel down into sector 2.
Straight they go. Looks like Custom has gotten the move done.
Samus is wheel to wheel with Maxim going into the hairpin here, and Henry has a front row seat. Custom taps Maxim on the rear there. He loses an end plate.
Good for the Mercedes, but they're still wheel to wheel as they make their way into the technical part of the circuit. Looks like Custom is ahead for now, but lurking right behind them is that banana boat, not McLaren, Renault. That's a McLaren for a second.
Henry very close to the rear of Custom. He's got to be careful. Custom not going to have the same turning ability he had at the beginning of this lap, as he's missing that front right end plate here in that Mercedes. Henry is going to have a great amount of speed and advantage coming through this final corner here. DRS is going to be enabled, and there is another crash here. It is the racing point of Little Bear. We're going to jump on down and see if we have a view of what happened there, as Sanchez, you can see the racing point off into the wall, and I do believe that is, once again, another safety car here on lap 6.
Smear, does that crash position look very Vettel-esque?
I didn't want to say it, but yes, I do believe that is where we saw Sebastian Vettel lose out in 2018, I do believe, where he was set to win that race.
Does look like I did see Jay pick up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Of course, all these drivers currently having a delta pace that they need to adhere to until they catch up to the safety car queue. It's important not to exceed that, otherwise you'll be hit straight away with the drive-through penalty. Very, very important to note. But it looks like these medium runners, it looks like Zamajo is actually pitting.
So everybody into the pits now. The Ferrari of Rackety choosing to stay out here, and that is going to be Jay into the pits for Alpha. So we'll see if he moves on ahead, and no, he does not. So like I said, unable to serve your drive-through penalty under safety car conditions. They put on a fresh set of medium compound tires. He may also be aware of that and just getting the pit stop done, volleying for a decent track position come restart time, as he has come out in 9th now, with Skybits right behind him in the Ferrari-powered Haas. What a safety car in this race.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for both of those drivers. It's at this point in the race that the strategy with these safety cars is really going to come into effect. So it looks like Zamajo has opted to put on a fresh set of soft compound tires, so he will definitely need to stop again. And then we have, like, rest of the stoppers are either on mediums or hards.
As you can see there, Rackety, Henry, and Neon Rays, as well as Sanchez, the only drivers yet to pit here in the session. We have Neon Rays and Henry running in second and third for Williams at the moment. Neon Rays is on those hard compound tires. I'd say he's in a pretty solid position considering where he's at right now.
Very solid position. And another solid position is Yoda.
As Yoda, once again, the victor of a safety car restart here, as we saw him in Russia earlier this season. It definitely played into his advantage, and now he has come all the way ahead into fifth. Fantastic from him as he's made up 12 positions throughout this race. Neon Rays even more than that, as we saw him unfortunately unable to set a time in qualifying, as we had a bit of a scrap between him and Matt. So he's moved up 16 positions into third, and that really just goes to show that qualifying is not everything, especially on this circuit, but of course on others it plays a much larger role, such as Monaco, Hungary, which is coming up. Hungary, by the way, round 12.
Not here, mate. Not in this league. It's a different league.
What, Hungary's round 12 in this league, isn't it? I thought it was round 12.
I don't know. I might be wrong. Anyway, we're not
I
here
could
to
always
talk
be
about
wrong
the
as
future.
well. Yeah, of course. We're here to talk about the present.
And we have Rackety in the Ferrari leading this race, as Matt will pick up a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
Very unfortunate for him in his reserve debut for Renault. Fun fact, Renault was supposed to be the squad that I drove for this season, until I decided that I had other skills best suited for commentating these races. So, Matt, you've got big shoes to fill, my friend.
Very, very big shoes indeed. We do get the word from race control that the safety car is coming in this lap, as Max will pick up a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Custom.
Very unfortunate for Maxim in the Red Bull. Very
It's
important to be
Rackety.
patient during these safety car restarts, and it looks like Rackety is going to go and pin it and begin lap number 9. As we are back to green flag racing, it is the Ferrari out in the lead there with Henry on the mediums looking quite quick. If you're Rackety on those soft compound tires, are you regretting your decision to stay out right now, or do you think track position's a better choice? Because Henry is looking very quick, towering down on that red Ferrari right now. Rackety moves inside. That's Henry on the outside. Henry a little bit later on the brakes than Rackety, as Rackety's on the inside. Looks like he's going to get a good exit there. Push Henry a little bit. Oh, and there's a bit of contact. That's Henry and Rackety have locked wheels. And Yoda, what happened to Yoda?
Absolute chaos on this second safety car restart. And another safety car. Wow.
I think everybody was just extremely amped up for this race after our week off, because this isn't how we left things at all, Mikkel.
No, this definitely is quite out of character for these drivers.
So I want to take a second to note. I'm going to let you finish, but I just want to point out all 3 of our top championship standings drivers are currently out of this race here in Germany, and things are really starting to shape up like we saw in last season's Formula One 2019 championship. We have 3 of the championship leaders out of this race. We have Neon Rays in the lead. Jay, who started in second position, is now up into second position after 3 safety cars. So unbelievable racing that we're seeing here, as Jasko all the way down through custom go into the pits here on the restart. Back to you, Mikkel.
Why'd they have to remove Hockenheim from the calendar? Why?
Excuse me. The race of the decade, and we're getting, you know, although this isn't real Formula One, it is a game, a virtual playground for these drivers to go and hone their speeds and challenge opponents. It doesn't disappoint in the game either.
Somehow seems to always throw something up, whether it's the leader crashing out when he's 20 seconds ahead, whether it's thing that you just saw at the turn 4 hairpin with 3 cars out, or 4 cars I think, actually no, 3 cars out all at once. So
that was absolute craziness. And you know who I have to say made out like an absolute bandit in that situation was Henry, because he's still running. Rackety's still running. I do believe they were a part of the equation that caused this third safety car, but we'll have to look at the replay, of course. Not jumping to any conclusions here, but I just can't get over the fact that we have our top 3 Drivers' Championship standings out of this race, and BTFU, who is right there in that fight, also out of this race. So a lot of points are being left on the table for the 14 remaining drivers here in Hockenheim.
most definitely, I think we're going to see a real opportunity, especially from some of those guys on the top of the midfield.
This is some of, this is, if I had to pick a race to compare this one to that we've had earlier in this season, I'd have to say Abu Dhabi, because I haven't seen this much contact and stuff so early on in a race since that opening race of the season in Abu Dhabi. And, you know, coming into the Easter break, we were very quiet as far as incident reports and collisions concerned. And then we come back through, you know, after the Easter break, everybody's super excited to go into Germany, and boom, you know, we have 5 cars out, 3 of them championship leaders, and it's just craziness.
But the safety car is in this lap, so it's up to Neon Rays to signal when we get racing once again here at Hockenheim. He puts his foot down to start lap 12, and it looks like Jay has spun around at turn 1 already. Right in the middle of the road. All the drivers very good to avoid him.
Very unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver, who has been having such a solid showing here so far in this race. I do want to say one thing to him. He did a fantastic job getting that car off onto the shoulder of the circuit so that the drivers behind him can get by. And I just want to say that is heads-up driving right there. Very crazy race here so far in Germany, and that is Skybits in the P2 in the Ferrari-powered Haas, as he is towering down now behind the rear of Neon Rays, but that's Jean right there behind him. We have some wheel-to-wheel action coming down through Sachs Curve here. We have a yellow flag through Sector 3. We are having a wild, wild race here in Hockenheim.
Never disappoints, but looks like Jean is getting very, very close to the back of that Rich Energy Haas car. Just run a little bit wide at the exit of turn 1, but he stays with them. Of course, DRS not enabled just yet, so you have to wait until the 3rd lap of green running. And it looks like Jasko's had a... Oh, he hasn't had an incident. He's just right in the middle of this 4-way battle for 6th place at the moment.
I do believe we have a disconnected car in Extreme in that Mercedes right now.
Custom,
As Jasko and Custom
making it 3 wide.
It's almost 4 wide as Falcon is in the mix as well. Jasko on the inside. Custom got out in front on that one. Jasko very close behind him. Cuts in front of Falcon. Falcon wheel to wheel now with Jasko. He's on the outside. Jasko on the inside. Very tight through that turn there, as Extreme has fallen off now due to the fact that he is currently disconnected. Maxim currently running in the last points position on the grid in the Red Bull. He is 10th. He will be looking to catch things up later on, as he's only just begun driving on those hard compound tires. A couple of drivers in front of him will more than likely need to pit throughout this race, and it is going to be DRS enabled here. Jean is going to have DRS coming down into Sector 2 here on the Haas driver of Skybits. John takes a 3-second time penalty, though, after multiple warnings here in Sector 1. You can see the DRS about to come online there for the McLaren. Back wing wide open. He is towering down with super speed on that Haas. Skybits not looking like he's going to do anything to defend against the McLaren here. He's just going to drive his race down to the hairpin. He gets a fantastic exit. He's still right on the rear of Jean. And Matt struggling here into the hairpin. You can see him in 4th place, falling back around 4 seconds behind the podium drivers right now. Samus is working behind him as well. But this battle is all about the podium positions right now. It's the battle for P2 as Neon Rays is pulling away on the 13-lap old hards. What do you think about all this, Mick?
It's just amazing, amazing racing from all these drivers, as I would expect. A crazy, crazy return to the season. We have battles going all over the place. We have Jean actually right on the back of Neon Rays already. Only 2/10 behind. Skybit's not far behind. That DRS certainly helping him stay in that gap. And then behind them, we have Samus chasing down Matt on those hard compound tires.
Skybits up the inside of Jean. He's going to have DRS. Jean falling back now in the McLaren. Skybits looking to catch up to the Williams, and that Samus going to be going for a move down on the Renault of Matt. He goes down the inside into the hairpin here. Very easy on the brakes is the Alpha, as well as the Renault. Samus gets a fantastic exit, and we still have battling for podium positions here. As you can see, Jean on the 11-lap old mediums is still working his way behind the rear of that Haas, looking for a gap to exploit.
It's very, very hard to overtake in this section of the circuit.
As Jay has had to pit for a wing change, got some fresh hard compound tires right now. He is going to be looking to make up some serious time here. Of course, we have lots of time left in this race. We're only on lap 15 out of 34.
Still definitely starting to spread a little bit, but these top 3 are still within that DRS range. Hoping to make something happen. Of course, Jean's tires may start to be going off at this stage in the race. So he definitely has to think about trying to make a move on Skybits. Or I'm sure he'll have a very angry Alfa Romeo behind him very, very soon.
Custom makes a move down the inside of that Renault down into the hairpin. That's Matt falling behind the Mercedes now, as we just caught a glimpse of a spectacular move. I do believe Custom had a fantastic run into Sector 2 there, as he's already taken a second out of the Renault driver heading down through Sector 2. Fantastic job from him. Samus in 4th right now. He is having a great race. He has been putting a lot of points on the board lately through these past few rounds. Hopefully he's able to continue that form, as we have a yellow flag through Sectors 2 and 3. Maxim wing. He's definitely missing a good portion of the front right. Henry looking to catch up with Maxim now in the Red Bull, who's having a fairly good debut here as a reserve driver.
Definitely say so, but Jean is within that 2/10 of a second gap. The DRS, he's got a full battery to use. This is going to be a no contest between him and the Haas of Skybits. Round the outside, and it's done well before the braking zone into the hairpin.
John on the 13-lap old mediums now into P2. The gap currently 2.5 seconds to the race leader, Neon Rays. Neon Ray's probably not going to be too comfortable with that, as those tires are starting to wear. 16 lap old now.
Probably still have a little bit of a life left in them, but he will definitely start to feel them sliding around a fair bit.
Maxim and Henry trading places now. Maxim on the 6 lap old hard compound versus the 7 lap old of the P7 driver Henry in the Williams. Looking to catch up here. He's still within 1 second. We have a sector 3 yellow flag, and that is Matt, who has looked like he's gone off here. You can see Henry and Maxim have caught him right up. He moves to the outside shoulder, and that's Henry and Maxim passing around the inside of Matt there. Matt, though, looks like he's cooled down his tires a bit. He could be looking to battle here, as Maxim's going to have the DRS on Henry. Henry, the DRS as well, as the detection zone was, of course, through after the penultimate corner heading into the pit straight, where Matt was overtaken. He will not have the drink. Skybits still in third.
3-second time penalty as Matt going very, very deep. And looks like over the Red Bull. I don't know if you caught that drift, but
No, I was not with them when that happened, but I am on board now with Maxim as he looks to retake a position from the Renault driver.
very, very low on their ERS deployment. But meanwhile, at the front,
Matt, he spins off. Maxim is up into P7 now, as looks like Matt struggled there on the exit of, or the entry into Sachs.
that's the second lap in a row he's had a little bit of a off at the Sachs curve. So he's obviously putting the power down just a tad too early, or something's going wrong with that setup that he's running at the moment.
Skybits now is just playing with fire now, as he is just shy of a second behind of Jean. Jasko's come out of the pits on a fresh set of softs, and he's just overtaken Sanchez for 11th position now. 11 seconds the gap between him and the points. Rackety in 10th right now on the 5-lap-old hards. Skybit's doing everything he can on those medium tires to catch up with the McLaren John, who is on the older compound tires ahead of him right now. So Skybit's itching to go here.
It's definitely crunch time for these top 4 drivers, or top 3, I should say.
Neon has
As
decided
Neon
to pit.
Yeah, Neon decides to go into the pits, presumably for a set of medium compound tires. So that gives Jean the race lead at the moment.
And if you're Skybits right now on those 13-lap-old mediums, you're happy with this, because you know that the driver ahead of you is on older tires. So it gives you a unique opportunity to catch up right now. You have not a lot of people behind you breathing down your neck, although Samus is catching up quite rapidly. 3.9 the gap right now on the 13-lap-old hards.
Looks like Custom has dropped quite a bit off the back of the Alfa Romeo. But I wouldn't discount them from the race just yet.
Still quite a lot of race left here. As we saw, we've already had three safety cars inside of the first phase of this race.
Still anything can happen.
Neon Rays catching his teammate Henry, as looks like he's popped out in 6th position here after he's pitted for the mediums.
And we'll see how far ahead Neon Rays will be. The 1-lap undercut. Looks like he's had a fairly solid outlap. In fact,
that was a fantastic strategy from the Williams squad there, because now fresh compound tires, he's going to have the DRS run on his teammate. Henry is more than likely going to concede that position. There's no reason to hold up Neon here. It's all about that team dynamic for those guys. Down into the hairpin now. Henry in a very good position to defend Jean away from his teammate here.
We're at the tail end of the grid, we have the two Red Bulls jostling for position. They head their way down the wannabe straight.
Maxim with a good run with DRS.
And Maxim will commit to the outside. Jasko tries to hold it in on the inside using all the grip those softs have. They are still wheel to wheel as they make their way towards the Mercedes grandstand section of the track. And Jasko will stay in front for the time being.
A little bit of a tap on the rear of Jasko there from Maxim, but fortunately for him, no damage as far as the eye can tell on that front wing. And we have a driver out of this race of VSC deployed, and that's Henry. Not too sure what happened there. It looks like he may have spun coming out of turn 1. The Williams is off on the side of the road, and you can see the VSC has been deployed. All drivers now required to slow to that delta pace. And not where Henry wanted to end up, I'm sure. Of course, his teammate doing a fantastic job in third. Jean on the one-lap old mediums is looking to catch him as well. And it looks like we may have a battle between the Williams and McLaren teams for on the 15-lap old hards in the Alfa Romeo. Very good for him.
Going another 12 laps on those hards certainly isn't impossible, but those tires are definitely going to be feeling the wear towards the end of the race. So I'm interested to see what the Alfa Romeo driver opts to do.
Samus in the lead with a solid gap right now.
He does have about 7 seconds to Neon Rays. And Neon Rays will still have to get...
Falcon on the 8-lap old softs. He's jumping into the pits now. We'll see where he comes out as Skybits flying on that fresh set of mediums. Looking to have a good race here. He's in a fantastic race position as he's currently running 6th on the fresh tires.
It looks like Neon Ray is already closing that gap to the Mercedes of Custom. He's already dropped it down by a second in half a lap. So those mediums definitely a lot faster than those one hards at this stage of the race.
Matt, who we've seen struggle throughout his debut here for MRL. Not having the race he wanted to have, I'm sure, as that is Skybits. Excuse me, what did I just miss there? Oh, I do believe it was it was Sanchez, the bag marker. I got extremely confused for a moment there, but yes, Matt, this is where he's been struggling all race long. He's been cooking it on the exit of the Sachs curve, and right now he is staying out. I can only imagine the tire wear on those hards. As he crosses the line, you can see 17 laps. He's beginning lap number 18 on those tires. Samus as well, of course, is on quite old hard compound tires right now. He is leading the race. 4 seconds the gap between him and the Mercedes of Custom, but Neon Rays on those fresh mediums is absolutely gaining on that Mercedes.
Sanchez has just lost, and we have another virtual safety car.
MRL, and I think you can agree with me when I say that. I don't think we've ever had this much, what is the word I'm searching for here? This much contact, this much chaos? Chaos. Let's go with chaos. This has been absolutely chaotic here after the Easter break, and you know what? I'm okay with that. It's been fantastic for us. I'm okay with this.
The VSC has been lifted as Samus starts lap 25 of this race. Still a 3-second gap between him and the Mercedes of Custom, but Neon Rays in the Williams right behind that Mercedes in that DRS zone. So Neon Rays, as he opens the DRS, which way is it going to go? Looks like Custom commits to the inside line for the hairpin, but Neon Race has so much more speed with that DRS open.
Ooh, Custom still tries to save it down the inside here. They're wheel to wheel. There's a bit of contact on the inside of the two drivers here. But that is Neon Rays up into second position, and we have Skybits ahead of Matt now on the Sector 2 straight into the hairpin. That's Skybits easily into 5th position here as we have a couple of overtakes down through the hairpin section of the circuit. Custom is trying to stay within Neon Rays here. You can see he's already dropped back to almost a full second behind that Williams.
Neon Race just has so much more grip than both Samus and Custom. He's just gaining and gaining every single corner. It's only a matter of time before he catches the back of that Alfa Romeo.
See, if I was Samus, I think if I was in that Alfa Romeo now, I would have pitted, because this gap is being absolutely, it's collapsing on top of Samus here. You can look at the speed here. He's going to get DRS on this back marker in the Mercedes in Extreme, so he's going to make up even more time through Sector 2 as he moves through the inside. Look how close to Samus he was able to get with that much momentum down into the hairpin. He has dropped that gap down to less than a second here on lap 26. Samus under serious threat from the Williams driver. I never thought I'd see it, but Neon Rays is about just getting, he's having chunks taken out of his time.
It's definitely a big predicament that the Alfa Romeo driver is at the moment. It looks like he's opting to stay out for another lap.
Ooh, he may have made a mistake with that one, but Neon Rays is loving it because he is going to have DRS through Sector 1.
Honestly, at this stage, I think Samus is just gambling and staying out. Just holding that track position as best as he can. But Neon Rays, with pretty much a full battery at his disposal, DRS, rich mix.
Just look at the run
all
he
the
gets
weapons
here.
are firing. And it's a no contest.
So Neon Rays now back into the lead of this race, which is fantastic for the Williams squad, given the fact that Henry, unfortunately, out of this race. This could be very good for Samus.
Yeah, this is definitely a really great opportunity, especially for those guys in the top of the midfield, to score some really, really big points and leapfrog themselves into the higher in the championship order. But look at that, Neon Rays just has so much pace on those tires. Samus can't keep up. He's already a second behind that Williams driver.
Look at the differences in tire strategies here. You have all of these drivers on the medium tires essentially fresh in comparison to all of those drivers on the hards. Samus has stayed out once again here on the 21-lap-old hards. He's just gambling, like you said. Custom, I do believe, is doing the same thing, holding on to that P3 track position. John, though, hopefully on those medium tires is able to catch up, but you can see there on screen he does have a front right end plate missing on his wing. He can't be too happy about that. Skybits hopefully able to do something about it in the Haas, perhaps catch up to the McLaren. Matt, on the 21-lap-old hards, he is going to be feeling those tires guaranteed, as he has not had the best time out on those. We saw how much he was struggling through Sachs. Rackety on the 14-lap-old hard compound in the Ferrari now. He's gaining on that Renault as well. So hopefully we'll see an overtake from the Ferrari soon. Falcon in 8th, Maxim in 9th, and Jay has worked his way back into the points. Fantastic from him, as we saw an incident with him in turn 1 ahead of, I do believe it was the 3rd safety car restart.
Just completely lost it at turn 1. Those cold tires in the dirty air catching him out. But what a chaotic race we've had so far, Strifium. I cannot believe it.
It's been an absolutely fantastic race to cast, to say the least. I can't wait to go back and look at some of the highlights. Of course, guys, if you're joining us on Twitch, all of our videos on demand from all of our races are available on our YouTube. There's a link down below in the panels. Highly recommend you check out some of our recently released highlights from the first 7 rounds of the MRL Season 2. Matt finally deciding it's time. He moves into the pits onto a fresh set of softs, and he's going to come out just ahead of Jay, I do believe, as Jay is still stuck in Sector 3 in 10th position. Of course, we saw him have a bit of an incident earlier. So nowhere near as I thought he may be, but Maxim in 9th. Matt did a good job of getting onto those softs. He comes out in 8th. And hopefully he has a good finish result here in the Renault. Falcon, his teammate, just ahead of him, one position in 7th there. The Ferrari of Rackety looking to fill the big shoes of his teammate who is out of the session. That is Zamaja, of course. You can see him in 16th on the timing tower there. Skybits, 2.6 seconds the gap between him and John right now. As hopefully he's able to hunt down John. John with a little bit of wing damage on that front right.
Also been keeping a close eye on this gap between Samus and Custom. Custom is slowly gaining on the Alfa Romeo. Just a little bit more life in those tires left. So hopefully he's able to catch within these last 5 laps. And give Samus a run for his money for that 2nd place. What a masterclass from Neon Rays that we are witnessing at the moment. Currently 6 seconds ahead of Samus.
As we are about to begin lap 31 now. If you guys are following us along in the chat here on Twitch, be sure to type who you think your favorite, or not favorite, but who do you think deserves to win Driver of the Day. We're going to try and do that moving ahead in the season. And it does not award a point, however, it is a nice feeling for that driver to finish the race too, of course, if he gets voted Driver of the Day. So if you think you have somebody in mind, be sure to type their name in the chat. Of course, all these drivers will be happy about anyone rooting for them throughout these races.
I definitely have to say the masterclass from Neon Race this race so far is definitely one to be commended.
Fun fact, if you're just joining us, Neon Ray's leading this race right now as he started in 19th position. He has made his way all the way to the front after 3 full safety cars, 2 VSCs. Fantastic drive from the Williams thus far, and only a few laps remaining here, and hopefully he's able to take a win for the Williams squad.
Let's review. There's still a couple of laps remaining. Anything can happen. It just takes one mistake for all that hard work to get undone. It looks like Custom is slowly dropping off the back of Samus now. Definitely in crunch time for these drivers at the moment. Just want to point your attention to Falcon, who's right on the back of Rackety in Sector 3 at the moment.
John has taken a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. That is going to play in huge for the driver of Skybits, who's currently 2 seconds behind him at the moment.
Going down the inside of Rackety into turn 2. Looks like he gets the move done, but Rackety will be coming right back at him with the DRS. Rackety opting to go for the outside. Looks like he's gotten past already. Goes very, very deep into the hairpin, but does manage to keep the move or position for now. But looks like they're wheel to wheel as they head through Sector 2. Who's going to be last? The late breakers. Looks like Falcon goes all the way around the outside to hold that position. What a great battle between those two we are witnessing.
Falcon made a fantastic move there. As you can just see, he got such a clean exit out in front of that Ferrari into 6th position. He is absolutely flying on the 12-lap old mediums right now. He's flying so hard and pushing so hard that the game decided to bug his audio because he's just got too much power in that engine right now. Skybits currently in 5th. He's just tampering with that 2-second gap right now between him and the McLaren driver.
You made a very interesting point a couple of laps ago that all these penalties that these drivers have accumulated throughout the session is going to definitely play a very large role in the outcome of this race.
Oh, most
I do believe
definitely.
Samus has a 3-second penalty and Custom does not. So as it stands right now, Custom will finish this race in P2 on the virtue of penalties, unless Samus can find a second in this final lap of the race.
Of course, there's always the possibility of driver reports as well, as we have had one of the most eventful races of the season here so far. And I do believe Jasko out of this race here. Not too sure what happened, as we are on board with the, I do believe, ghosted car of Extreme.
I believe that is the case.
So Neon Rays crossing into the meat here of Sector 2.
What a drive from Neon Rays. He enters Sector 3 now.
Rackety very close on the rear of Falcon still, but it is going to be Neon Rays rounding the final 2 corners here in Germany to take the win. The Williams driver, Neon Rays, fantastic job from him as he started on the 19th slot here in Germany. Samus is going to cross second, and barring any penalties, he will maintain that position. Custom right behind him is going to jump into second position. A podium for all 3 of those drivers. You can see Neon Rays finishing with the win, Custom in second, and Samus in third after penalties. And Skybits moves up ahead of Jean as predicted due to that 3-second time penalty we saw Jean take earlier. Fantastic drive from all of them, of course. Falcon in 6th, finishing just ever so slightly ahead of Rackety, but I do believe Rackety may have had a penalty at the end there to push him a little further back. Matt, on his debut here as an MRL reserve, coming across the line 8th. We'll see if penalties play a role for him, as Maxim in 9th at the moment in the Red Bull, making his reserve debut as well, is now flying through the last 2 corners of the circuit here and to finish out his race. Fantastic job from him on his debut, and Jay rounding off the last point here in the Alfa Romeo. Congratulations to our podium finishers. That's Neon Rays in the Williams finishing with the win. Custom finishing 3rd on circuit, however, due to penalties, and they do play a large role, he jumps into 2nd, and Samus finishes out the podium in 3rd. What a race. Holy shit. Pardon my French, but that was crazy. And there are the times, folks. You can see them in their entirety as we will go down the grid.
Very well driven from all of the drivers who finished the race today. Very crazy, chaotic race.
There is the race director for how these drivers began. You can see Neon Rays on the 1-stop, hard to medium. It paid off. A lot of these drivers on multiple stops here as we move down the grid. And some of these drivers, unfortunately, not even able to make a stop. As you can see, BTFU, the incident of the day, I think I have to say, as, you know, one of the drivers constructor, I can't even speak today. One of the driver championship leaders, of course, currently in 3rd, unable to even score any points as he lost out in the opening turn of the race. So very unfortunate for him. However, I do want to give him a big shout out. BTFU, thank you for all of the gifted subs to the channel, my friend. BTFU has gifted 6 subscriptions to you viewers here in the MRL Twitch. Thank you so much to you, BTFU. I'm sorry you did not have the race I'm sure you wanted to have today. But with all of that being said, that was an absolutely crazy, crazy race. And it was absolutely just chaos. It was just chaos with all of those safety cars. What do you think, Mikhail?
I think this is a race to remember. Oh my goodness. That was unbelievable. I'm speechless. What a great show that we had today from all of these drivers. Unfortunate for all those who were not able to finish the race for one reason or another. But yeah, what a crazy race. Because Hockenheim never disappoints, and I'm really looking forward to see how, particularly those top 3 runners in the standings, bounce back after a very disappointing race from all of them.
Yeah, as you can see, standings on screen, guys. Now, this is not the current updated standings as of the end of this race. I'm not that fast. However, this is the standings after we saw these drivers finish things off in Brazil ahead of our Easter break. And as we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, Samajo, Yoda, and BTFU were leading this championship, and quite possibly still could be in those positions. However, they have taken a massive loss in not finishing with points positions here, as all of the drivers who did, such as Samus, who finished 3rd, Custom, who finished 2nd, and Neon Race, who's currently, where is he on my 10th? Excuse me, 10th. Neon Race. Neon Race with that race win is going to jump up, I do believe, ahead of Sneaky. And great job to him. Great job to all of our drivers. That was an absolute fantastic race to cast today. And we hope all of you enjoy the VOD and the highlights later on. Any last things you want to touch on, Mikhail, other than round 9 next week?
I was just about to get to that, Shrifium. So yes, we will be back same time next week for round number 9 of the Misfits Racing League Season 2 Championship at Silverstone. So do make sure that you clear your schedules and join us next week for what I hope will be another thrilling race.
For sure, for sure. We are going to head on over now and raid good old Samus. Go and give him some love. He finished 3rd today. One of his best results of the season so far. He's got to be feeling good about that. He stuck it out on the hard compound tires, and he did a superb job. So we're going to jump on over. We're going to raid Samus, tell him the MRL casters say hello and good race and congratulations. And that is going to wrap it up for us today. And we will see you next week, next Thursday, same time, same place. We're going to be driving Silverstone, and it's going to be fantastic for round number 9 of Misfits Racing, season number 2.